55-55, Jacksonville.
They send 5. They blitz here. Max hangs in and fires it deep downfield. There's a miscommunication, and that ball is going to be intercepted. That ball is intercepted by Cameron Bynum. Mack took a shot at the end zone. Gabe Davis ran it more to the middle of the field. Mack threw it along the far sideline. Bynum tracked it down and intercepted it in the end zone to end the hopes for the Jaguars.
Yeah, we never expected to be here, obviously. Where we had 5 or 6 games now that are, one-score games. It's hard. It's hard. We're as a team, as coaches, we're making it hard. We're making it too hard. And the guys are frustrated, and they should be, and they're angry, and they should be, because we all are. And but we have to channel it in a positive way, and get ready for another one.
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Jeff Lageman, and Dylan Denmark.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome in on a Check the Tape Tuesday. Jaguars Today off and rolling. Good morning, Tony Smith.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dylan Denmark.
What'd it do?
He's making the big move, Tony, in the Breakfast Bowl these days. I'll be buying this week for the second time this year. Even that pathetic effort from Devon Achane was enough for D-Rock to get out of the basement last night, because that's how bad I was this week. Logs, how are you? Good morning. How are things?
Good.
Yeah? All right.
Yeah, good. Except for, Sundays.
Except for Sundays. The rest, we can't control what happens for those 3 hours, but all we can do
I haven't played quarterback since, I think, Little League.
Are you saying that we could stand for some improvement at that position?
Oh, yeah. After this past game, I would say yes.
Well, let's start with the positives, all right? We typically start off with Trevor Lawrence. How did he play? So, Mac Jones, look, nobody's rooting against Mac Jones.
No.
He's a hometown kid being pressed into service, and went down there, got the touchdown drive going early on. They gave the Jags a little spark. So, let's start on the positive side. What did Mac Jones do well in this game?
I think the operation of the offense was good. In and out of the huddle, getting the line of scrimmage with plenty of time.
Is that a concern with a backup, even a guy who's got experience?
Yeah, absolutely. And part of that also is the center quarterback exchange, which that didn't go so well. You had the one issue that was late in the ball game, but the actual operation of the offense, the timing of the offense, I thought he did a very good job of.
Did you think that snap was on Morse? Or
it's hard to tell.
Okay, because Mac Jones took all the blame for it. That's one thing Tony and I talked about yesterday, that, Mac was a pro about things. He's like, it's basically, it's all my fault. Some of it, sure, but there's blame to go around, right? And I didn't think it was a particularly great day for him, but, I thought that was more on Mitch Morse. I thought, he snapped it kind of high, or it was, a little bit awkward, but Mac's like, it doesn't matter. I got to be able to take that. And
yeah, I don't know, and that's one of those things where, unless you're the center or the quarterback, there's really no way of knowing.
Right, but I think that's the quarterback should, even if you blatantly know it's on the other guy, that's part of leadership, right?
I appreciate Mac Jones not going Aaron Rodgers.
Exactly.
Red line. It was his fault,
Yeah, got to be on the red line.
Yeah. You
see Mike Williams, by the way, after the game?
I did.
Hashtag red line.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
Aaron deserves every bit of that. But, I appreciate Mac Jones owning it, whether he, it was his fault or not. To be able to say, hey, that's on me, I'm okay with that.
What did he do well on the touchdown drive that they were unable to replicate
Really
later?
efficient. Really efficient, and his feet were settled. And that's the big difference between, if you look at that drive and then you look at the remainder of the game, that his feet were calm, and I've been watching Mac all through training camp, and the one area that you can tell, and even if you watch his preseason games, is that when his feet get a little happy, his accuracy goes out the window. And so there are some guys that can do that, like Patrick Mahomes can throw it any which way you want. But some quarterbacks have to have the foundation for them to make really good throws. And he had it on that early drive in the ball game, and then as the game wore on, the foundation started to erode. And whether that was pressure affecting him, The other thing that can be a factor is, hey, look, I'm not sure what I'm seeing out of the defense. I'm not sure where I need to go with the ball. All of those things play into the feet, and you could tell that his feet just weren't very settled as the game wore on.
A lot of times that's quarterbacks don't have settled feet because they don't trust the protection. I thought the offensive line did a solid job.
It's not always that, though, Mike. A lot of times it's just, again, it's not knowing what you're seeing.
Okay, and not having been in there in a while.
Yeah, exactly. The rust factor, I mean, I think all of that can play into a quarterback's feet being a little bit unsettled, and it doesn't necessarily have to be the pressure getting to the quarterback, although that is one of the factors. But also, look, that's a hard defense to figure out. You know, Brian Flores' defense is known for being very hard to figure out, you know, and the Jaguars' defense actually had one moment in the game to where they kind of took a little, I guess, note out of Brian Flores' playbook and got an interception on that play Savage got, that we'll talk about later, that they kind of did the same thing to where they confused the quarterback, Sam Darnold. And so, but it's a hard defense to figure out because where they line up is not where they're going to end up. And that's in the back end. It's also up front, which makes it hard on your protection, but it also makes it hard on your quarterback to figure out where in the hell to go with the ball.
So we were looking at pressures yesterday, unofficial. You know, different sites have different sources on it, but it seemed like the line did okay. Anton gave up a couple.
Yeah.
It seemed like the biggest issues in pass protection might have been with the backs picking up.
It was a combination. Yeah, it was a combination trying to figure out what to do, you know, and at times you could see that the offensive line wasn't sure. And then all of a sudden a back gets exposed to a guy that maybe normally they wouldn't get exposed to because there was confusion up front. So it was a little bit of both.
When you watch the film of Mac Jones this week, and we don't know what's going to happen with Trevor Lawrence going forward, but let's presume Mac plays again this week. Is there something in that film that you can look and say, all right, we can build on this, or maybe we take a few of these plays out, we add a few more of this type of plays? Like what is the foundation that they're working with if Mac Jones is going to get another start?
Well, I don't know if they did this for this past game, but when you have a backup, you know, having kind of watched quarterback play with the Jaguars through the years, and especially watching Tom Coughlin with the teams that I was on, Tom did a really good job of kind of focusing in the game plan for a backup quarterback. In other words, simplifying it to some extent. And the reason I think that you want to do something like that is because, look, I mean, the quarterback hasn't been playing and has not been, you know, under live action for quite some time. So the easier that you make it for him, it's a little bit quicker for him to be able to diagnose things with a simple package of plays. And I think you got to simplify it a little bit. Where things that I saw in this game that says, hey, look, you know, he's got a chance this week, yes. And then also you go back to the preseason film that Mac Jones had. Mac had, I thought, like the Atlanta game, last preseason game, I thought he was really good in that game. Really efficient. His feet were settled, and when his feet were settled, man, he was throwing some dimes. And so I'm encouraged by that. And I think, you know, as a team, you got to help him, number one, with the playbook. And I think, number two, you got to give him a running game. And that wasn't really there for the most part in this ball game. You know, you had Etienne that was, you know, still kind of banged up a little bit with the hamstring, and then he was okay. But then Tank Bigsby wasn't his normal self.
Well, he got dinged early.
Yeah, with the ankle or whatever it was. And so, I mean, look, you got to help out the backup a little bit. You know, now I'm not saying that he's exempt from any of the responsibility, because he's certainly not, with many opportunities to win that ball game down the stretch. But you got to play better around him as well.
While we're talking offense and game plan and simplifying things, I don't think it gets a whole lot simpler than get Brian Thomas Jr. the football. You know, at some point in these games, at least give him an opportunity to make a play or two for you. And it's 2 weeks in a row, just offensively, they haven't even given Brian Thomas Jr. to have any kind of impact in the game.
Yeah, and I agree, and that, you know, there's got to be more targets, and part of that responsibility falls, I think, on, you know, the plays that you're running, but then also the operation of the offense of the quarterback, and then it's also dictated by what the defense is doing. So it's a little bit more complex than saying, hey, let's just get Brian Thomas the ball. But, you know, there were opportunities in the game where Brian maybe should have gotten the ball and didn't get the ball. You know, let's look at the last play, for example, which wasn't very complex play, because essentially it's a 3 levels route. Okay, you have a guy in the flat.
Say this slowly so we can figure this out.
Okay, you have a guy in the flat. Okay, you have an intermediate guy, which is Brian Thomas, and then you have a deep guy, which was Gabe. Now, the ball was thrown deep to Gabe. I don't know if Gabe ran the wrong route or not, because he was actually kind of bending it in a little bit, like a skinny post. Was it supposed to be a straight 7 route where he goes down the field? Because that's kind of what Mac Jones threw. But either way, whether it's a 7 or skinny post or whatever, the ball should have been thrown to Brian Thomas Jr., who was the intermediate player, because it's cover 2. Okay, the safety's bailed, the corner's staying into the shallow route. Now you got this hole in cover 2. That's the throw to make, and Mac doesn't make that throw. Now, I will say that the protection failed on that play as well. On the left side, you had essentially a pick play, which is a really good job by their linebacker, the hometown product, the Minnesota guy that was back after being inactive with the toe injury. Cashman, thank you. And Cashman and Grenard ran a little game, and Cashman got the inside shoulder hip of Walker Little. And then there was confusion because the back is like, okay, I'm supposed to block him. But then all of a sudden here comes Grenard, planting his foot and coming up underneath. And then you can see that Mac Jones can't quite get the follow through. So the play was wrong, I think, from a couple aspects. One, you gave up, hit on the quarterback that didn't allow follow through. But then also the decision itself of where to throw the ball was not the proper decision. And then I don't know about the route. That's something that I'm not sure on.
Right. Doesn't seem that complex, but it was. To Tony's point, are you watching the old 22 and seeing opportunities that they're just not capitalizing on for Brian Thomas Jr.?
Yes and no. Yes, in that there are some, but at the same token, there's two things. One, I thought Minnesota did a really good job of putting a safety over the top of him a lot of the game, more so than like Green Bay. Green Bay did it some. Minnesota did it a lot. There was a lot of attention paid to Brian. And there were times that I thought, because Brian wasn't getting targets and didn't seem to be involved, I don't know if I saw the same energy out of Brian in the game, which that happens. I mean, sometimes you have guys that they target them early to kind of get them involved,
right,
get them into the game, and you could kind of see that, as the game kind of wore on, I don't know if it quite stayed there.
Isn't there a simple route you could just, even if it's a wide receiver screen, like just to get the ball in his hands, let him have that touch and let him feel it, try to pick up 10 yards?
I agree, but I'm not a big fan of that stuff for Brian, just because that's not really what he does best. I mean, what he does best is where he's running, not necessarily that quick change of direction stuff at the line of scrimmage. But I understand what you're saying. It gets him involved and it gets him an easy
blood
catch.
Flowing a little bit.
Sure.
Because, look, I think, Tone, everybody now is going to put a safety over the top of Brian Thomas Jr., and we can't let it be that simple that we never throw him the football.
Well, if it does nothing else, it would at least prevent Brian Thomas Jr. from getting to the point of, I'm not involved in the game yet. Where is his energy in this game? Like, if you at least get him involved early, and it is short, simple stuff, that may not be the thing that he's the guy at necessarily in the offense, but if it keeps him involved the entire time, I think that's a very positive step for whatever they're doing on offense.
Well, and I think this is a challenge for Brian as well. Number one is that, I don't know in college that you have that high IQ level of defense to where teams are going to go, you know what? We're going to shut you down no matter what, because at LSU, I mean,
got Malik Neighbors
oh my
to worry
God.
about.
I mean, they had a million guys, right? So, I mean, this is kind of new for Brian as well. And so it's kind of a challenge for him to be able to, still have that same energy, that same approach, and the same high energy competitiveness in that situation. And that's one of the things that makes Justin Jefferson so great. I mean, he's getting that every game, but yet he still is one of the ultimate competitors in the game. And I was talking to Keenan McCardell before the game, and by the way, he looks great. And I said, man, you got a room to coach. He goes, you can't imagine. He said about Justin Jefferson, he said, he's such a great competitor and does all the work. He said that's what makes him great. He said is that he's a great competitor no matter what, because he sees the coverage every week, but he still competes at a high level. And he's a special player. And the Jaguars did a good job. I mean, I think they held him to like 48 yards. They confused Sam Darnold a couple times into some errant throws, and limited, I thought, really did a good job of limiting Justin Jefferson in the whole game, this was kind of a very different game plan for the Jaguars defensively. In past games, there's been a little bit of stuff that they've done special for players. This was the first game that I thought that they really had a game plan that was designed to stop this guy, and I thought they executed it really well. And, kudos to them because they confused me a couple times on how they were lining up and how they ended up looking, for the play. Just for example, like the Savage interception in the end zone. That actually looked like a man coverage because Tyson Campbell, who is normally a corner on the Jaguars' defensive right side, he was lined up on one of the wide receivers that was in a bunch formation to the left. Well, that's kind of an indicator, right? Okay, well, they're playing man because if the Jaguars had played zone in the past, Tyson would have stayed on the other side. And when the ball was snapped, I'm thinking, man, well, they actually dropped back to where Tyson was a deep hole, shallow player, and they were playing cover 2. Sam Darnold had no clue. He throws that ball to Justin Jefferson thinking that I've got man coverage and safety is going to end up working deep middle, and I'm going to have JJ all alone in that corner of the end zone. He makes the throw, and Savage is working right that way because it was cover 2. Great job of disguising.
Savage, by the way, I think played 100% of the snaps this week, as did Foye. Interesting. They're capable of doing that even in the game when you had 82 defensive snaps.
Yeah, and then they look the endurance stamina of Foye is second to none.
Right,
Yeah,
which we've been saying it all season. When you're playing 50 snaps, 60 snaps, he should never be off the field.
Yeah, and look, he drew a tough assignment, I mean, look, the tight ends for the Minnesota Vikings are 2 good football players, and he got lost a couple times, in man coverage and got beat. But, I mean, overall, Foye is one of those players that you don't want to take him off the field. Too good.
No doubt about it. All right, Jeff Lageman's analysis, too good on a Check the Tape Tuesday. Would you like to be a part of it? Well, there's your invite. You can certainly do that by picking up the phone and calling 641-1010 on the Garber Auto Mall phone line. Same number for the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. You can hop in the YouTube virtual studio chat as well, or you can hit us up on social media at MD_1010XL, at 1010XL Fat Tony, at Logs56, and at 1010XL Denmark.
Ain't no laws when you're drinking claws, baby.
All right, here we go. The good and the bad coming out of the Jags' 12-7 loss to the Minnesota Vikings. This is a Check the Tape Tuesday. Jeff Lageman in studio here with us on Jaguars Today here on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today. You're at the home of the Jaguars in the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. After you watch the game, discuss it with Hacker, Leon, and Coach Campo.
From Hurricane Grill and Wings, Fleming Island.
It's the window world of Northeast Florida 5th quarter. Brought to you by Von Rowan Law and Hurricane Grill and Wings. 2 hours after the final whistle on game day.
Do the Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle.
Garber Auto Mall is home of a lifetime warranty. Every new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Chevy, Buick, GMC, and Ford comes with a lifetime warranty. At Garber Auto Mall, your purchase is covered for life. Visit us in Green Cove Springs or at GarberAutomall.com. And remember, at Garber Auto Mall, there's always a little room for wiggle.
Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle.
When it comes to towing products, your safety on the road is the priority at Cannons of Jacksonville. Whether it's a heavy-duty tow hitch, trailer frame, wiring, gooseneck, tow bar, or any other towing accessory, Cannons has decades of experience to ensure your towing setup is installed with precision and reliability. Visit cannonsofjax.com to explore a range of products and schedule your installation. Cannons of Jacksonville, your trusted partner for a smoother tow.
Greenlaw Group is for the insured. If you think you have roof damage, call 904-302-7055 today, and they will schedule you a free roof inspection. Trust their law firm to help you fight your insurance when you need it. These storms can cause damage you may not even see yet. Call Greenlaw Group 302-7055. There's no cost to retain their law firm and no cost to have your roof inspected. They only get paid if you win. Greenlaw Group, for the insured.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Want to grow your hair back?
IHRS, right here in Jacksonville, is the only hair transplant clinic in the country that offers multi-unit hair grafting, FUE Neograft hair transplants, and the 45-minute effective PRP treatments.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
Thank you, IHRS.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Schedule a free evaluation and find out how to grow your hair back and keep the hair you have. Call 904-777-IHRS. Take the first step to restoring your hair today. Visit hairforme.com.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
IHRS has been restoring hair for men and women for over 30 years.
Call now for a free in-person or virtual evaluation. 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Or visit hair4me.com.
Does the building you go to work in every day need a little love and attention? Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Great companies take great care of the buildings their staff and customers walk into every day. If the building you're in doesn't match the vision you have for your company, we can help. Go to performance-painting.com. Our highly trained team makes the difference. Quality coatings applied with pride.
Performance painting.
Every weekend is a Stone Cold Sports Weekend. Hey, Dan Hicken here. Watch for the Weekend with Dan on YouTube and Facebook, and I'll help you put together your sports weekend. Weekend with Dan brought to you by Stone Core. We do the outdoors better.
I'm Jeff Middlecoff with Trustline Mortgage. My business partners, Alan Tyre, Bill Pappas, and Ken Rimley, have been helping first-time home buyers with their mortgage financing all over Florida for 34 years. First-time home buyers can get no or low down payments, anywhere from 0 to 3.5% down. As a first-time home buyer with Trustline Mortgage, you get added benefits for doing your loan with us, like lower rates on your mortgage insurance and lower closing costs. Oh, and did I forget to mention that Trustline gives first-time home buyers better mortgage interest rates? Here's the bottom line. Trustline Mortgage wants to help first-time home buyers accomplish your goal of home ownership. That's why Trustline Mortgage is offering the best first-time home buyer benefits around, period. Trustline Mortgage delivers with no and low down payments, lower closing costs, and better interest rates. Call Trustline Mortgage today at 381-LOAN. Yes, 381-LOAN to find out how we can help you buy your dream home. Or visit our website at trustlinemortgage.com. Trust your instincts and follow the line to Trustline Mortgage.
Certain restrictions apply. See office for details. Trustline is an equal housing opportunity. MLS number 331480.
Transmission troubles? I'm Robin Sidbury, owner of Action Transmission Specialist on Merrill Road. So come in and see how we can help solve your transmission troubles. We service all makes and models. Remember, get traction. Call Action at 744-0755.
The holidays are around the corner, and the last thing you want is a septic emergency. Call Duck Duck Rooter and schedule your septic tank pump out or full system inspection. 904-862-6769. That's 904-862-6769.
Hacker here, and last Saturday was awesome. Thanks to everyone who came out to my Countdown to 100 Awaken 180 watch party. The wings were flying, beers were being thrown down, and this guy didn't gain a pound back. I had reached my goal of 100 pounds and took a couple of weeks off. What did I find during my weigh-in last week? I actually lost more weight, officially down 110 pounds now. Had a birthday trip, watch party, celebrations, you name it, and I'm down 110 pounds. I weigh now 207. Yeah, 207 when I was close to 320 just 8 months ago. With Awaken 180, I've got the ultimate life back. Losing weight while living it up. It's like cheating the system, but it's all legit. If you're ready to get your health back, join the Awaken 180 movement. Call 844-346-1800 or hit up awaken180weightloss.com. This isn't a diet, it's leveling up your life. Hacker out, because I'm keeping it real and light.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Slow, and I want to talk to you today about having a grateful spirit. As we journey in life, it's so easy to take things for granted, but I want to encourage you to never get tired of thanking God for your blessings. Take time also to thank the people in your life who have and are helping you to become the person you are today. Don't go through life complaining, go through life praising.
To hear more inspirational messages by Reverend Dr. Nicholas Lowe, please visit our website at stjohnthedivine.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jeff Lageman Tuesday
is brought to you by
Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
It's rolling around the bend, and I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when.
All right, Jeff Lageman, check the tape Tuesday. We're stuck in losing prison around these parts.
It's a great song.
2-8. It is a great song. Jags currently hold down the number one pick in the NFL draft. Lucky us.
That ain't good.
That's not opening the door for draft talk, people. Dang it, Pockets. Logs from Paul on social media.
Mm-hmm.
Is the defense coming together more, or did they do anything differently to create turnovers, or was Darnold just reckless with the ball too much? I mean, they had to overturn one, would have been 4 interceptions, which would have doubled their season total in one afternoon. What gives?
Yeah, and the Monterix interception in the end zone.
Might have had an assist from the ground.
Yeah, might have.
But anyways,
you got it. And look, Monterix been playing pretty well. Just got to say this, though, but Tyson Campbell, I know Dan was kind of joking around a little bit with Tony when you guys were doing the crosstalk there. I thought Tyson Campbell played an exceptional game. I mean, exceptional game. And it wasn't just because he had that one PBU pass breakup that ended up getting intercepted by Foye Luakin. But you guys remember he came out of the game a little bit, and Dr. Kaplan was checking him on the sideline a little bit. We talked about it on the radio. And then he comes back in the game. That was one of the most physical games I've ever seen him play. I mean, I'm talking elite performance by him, and kudos to him. But look, Sam Darnold was off. I think everybody would agree with that, and even on the sideline when they were looking at him, you could see that he had something going on with his hand.
Apparently, so, Tony, yesterday we were talking about it. Somebody said that it was like whenever he threw a pick, I think it was the one that Savage got, right? And then he hit his hand after that on somebody.
Yeah.
And so it shouldn't have impacted the throw. It seemed like that might have happened pretty late in the football game.
Yeah, but he didn't look on. I mean, throughout the whole course of the ball game, I mean, there was some, like, if you remember the one shoestring catch that Justin Jefferson had, I mean, that was an easy throw. I mean, clean pocket. I mean, just plain pitch and catch. And he damn near threw it in the dirt, so.
There's another one, I think Addison had to reach way back behind him.
And so I don't think he was on, which, if you look at the numbers, I mean, they had lost, 2 out of the 3 games coming in, and he started out at the season was just, on fire. And he's cooled off a lot, even though his completion percentage was amongst the elite in the National Football League coming into that game. I thought he was off a little bit, and I just thought the Jaguars' defense played really well. And credit to them, and this is the first game that, when I say played really well, look, they still gave up 400 yards or whatever it was and gave up a ton of drives and a ton of time possession. But
second worst in team history.
Yeah, but in part of that, too, is on the offense. I mean, look, the defense has got to get off the field, but also the offense has got to do something. I mean, do something.
Well, even early, right, on the first drive of the game, I think they gave up a 12-play drive for the field goal for Minnesota. Jags get the touchdown. I think the defense gets them off. But later in that same first quarter, they had a 17-play drive. I mean, they shouldn't have been exhausted at that point. They gave up 2 drives totaling 29 plays in the first quarter.
Yeah, and then they had a stretch where they did okay. But I think the disappointing thing is that, look, when you get 3 takeaways as a defense. And look, I understand, look, the positioning after the interception wasn't particularly great. It wasn't like, hey, we were on the plus side of the field. I think one was at the 20, one was at the 22, and I can't remember where the other one was, but in the similar kind of area. So you had still 80 yards to go or 75-plus yards to go on all 3 of them drives. But still, come on, do something.
No.
Just give me a field goal out of one of them. But they got 0 out of it.
I hear you. So they did. You're right. They got the turnovers. And as we talked about yesterday, getting 3 turnovers, not allowing a touchdown. Teams that had done that were 195-0 in the last 195 outings since 2006.
So you're saying we're special?
Yes, very.
Okay.
Let's go to the phones for the first time today.
They are the answer to a trivia question.
Right. Who snapped the streak? I mean, it's happened before, but that was a record since 2006, or at least the record of teams in that position. 641-1010 on the Garber Auto Mall phone lines. We'll go to Eric on the west side to start things off on a Check the Tape Tuesday. Good morning, Eric.
Hey, good morning. How you doing?
Good. What's up?
All right. So on the Check the Tape Tuesday, on the offensive side of the ball, it kind of felt like Press Taylor was handicapping Mac Jones a little bit on some of the play calling. It was like a short pass here, a short pass there, and then you could see verbiage from Mac Jones saying, like, what are we doing? Like it seems like they was trying to, like, keep him, like, caged in or whatnot and rely on the defense to win. And another thing, too, probably have to look into using either one of our backup tight ends to be a lead blocker every time we run the ball, because you're asking these linemen to get up to the second level, and they don't have enough time because these linebackers run at least a 4-4 nowadays, and that way you can have a lead blocker, and that way you can go to the second level and potentially score. And that's my take.
Okay.
About the Press Taylor thing, look, can the play calls be better at times? Absolutely. I think it's people, I think sometimes always just want to be able to put their finger on one thing and say, that's it. That's the problem. Let's get it fixed. And look, I'd like to tell you that it's one thing, but that's not how it works. I mean, could the play calls be better at times? Yes. Could the execution of the offensive line be better at times? Yes. Can the execution of the quarterback be better at times? Yes. Can the execution of the tight ends and backs be better, both running and blocking? Yes. For example, Tank Bigsby on the one where he tries to bounce it outside. Plant your foot and get downhill, get inside the guy. I mean, it's a 9-10 yard gain easy. And he wants to bounce it out to the outside for the home run. Home runs sometimes happen when you just continually go for the base hit, and then they just all of a sudden pop. So there's not one thing that can be kind of pointed to that you can say, okay, that's it. And then the whole thing about the tight ends and the fullbacks and the second level. Look, the Jaguars run the stuff that other teams run in the National Football League.
Right, almost no one uses a fullback.
Okay, the fullback has almost become obsolete. I mean, the 49ers are one of the few teams that really carry a true fullback on their roster, and when the Jaguars do run something that requires a fullback, Brenton Strange does it, and he does it very well. I mean, I think he's one of the better young tight ends.
Point, should they do more of that?
I'm a big fan of getting Brenton Strange on the field. But him as a fullback all the time, no. But I think part of his role can be that. But I was glad to see him back on the field more. I think 2 weeks ago he had like 9 snaps after having such a strong finish to that game to Green Bay, I believe it was, and then against Philly he hardly played at all, which was
played 9 snaps.
Total mystery, and then. I don't know how many he played this week, but it felt like 20-plus maybe.
He played 18, 41% of the snaps.
Okay.
He and Luke Farrell basically split a common amount. Farrell had 16 snaps. Strange had 18. Evan Ingram played 37, which, the Jags didn't have
a
many
lot of snaps.
Right. Yeah. But 37 was 84% of the snaps.
Yeah, I look at that more of a percentage. What was the total number of snaps? 44 on offense?
I think so, yeah.
I think like 44 was the total number of snaps on offense, and Brenton Strange had, 18. So, you're pushing, 40, 45%. I'm okay with that. Look, good football player.
Yeah, he was 41% this week. He was 17% the week before. And 41 is in line with where he's been, with the exception of the period when Evan Ingram was out. And then he was playing like 70 to 80% of the snaps. But when Evan Ingram's been healthy, he's been about a 40% of the snap guy most games.
Yeah, I thought it was, interesting that, Philly, he had such a low percentage. I think he didn't even have the wide receiver, Gabe Davis, not even active in that game. And then Gabe comes back. Gabe gets the most snaps out of any wide receiver. And Parker Washington kind of drops his number of snaps. But,
Gabe and Thomas equal amount, 38 apiece this week. But Gabe basically played every down.
Yeah, which I would have thought that maybe, him coming back, maybe Parker would have kind of him, but look, that's kind of nitpicking, and look, I get that they have packages and all that kind of stuff, but, the reality is that, the number of plays, I think, in a game like that kind of become a moot point just because you just don't have enough numbers. You just got to perform better to get more snaps as a whole than maybe you're sitting there not counting snaps.
All right, we got to take a break, Eric. Thank you for the call. For the rest of you, hang on the line or join us at 641-1010 on the Garber Automall phone lines with Jeff Lageman, breaking it down on a Check the Tape Tuesday. If you've got Jaguars questions or comments, Log certainly has answers and opinions. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods, a local company that has been thriving on the First Coast for nearly 70 years. 70 years of delivering up great food to you. Consistency. When you go into an area gate station, you're not going to go, oh, did I get a good burger today? Did I get a soggy burger today? That's fast food. Dandy is superfood for you. Yeah, it's fast. It's super convenient. You head to the fresh case and gate, and you choose from around 30-plus different varieties that any particular location will have on hand, like the hot roast beef and provolone or the Italian combo that'll melt in your mouth, the all-white meat spicy buffalo chicken, the big old juicy classic 100% beef cheeseburger. I love the tuna salad. Many of these served on fresh ciabatta bread, which is baked locally, delivered daily. Locally sourced ingredients, the highest quality, fantastic variety and your options. Prices that always keep a smile on your face and some money in your wallet. Dandy's the name to know. When you're hungry in Duval, do what I do. Go out and make yours a Dandy and do it today.
Jaguars Today. From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL.
If you suffer from constant burning, tingling, or numbness in your hands or feet, it could be a serious condition called neuropathy. I'm Dr. Nathan Riddle, DC with Riddle Wellness in Ponte Vedra. Neuropathy is treatable, and we have seen great results by using state-of-the-art, non-invasive therapies to target damaged nerves, reduce symptoms, and improve nerve function. Call 904-395-5598 to schedule your free consultation today and learn how you can live pain-free. Call 904-395-5598.
Hey gang, Prosser here, telling you once again about Chad and Sandy Newman. Mortgage rates are down, creating more active buyers and sellers. If you've been waiting, now is a great time to sell your home before more homes flood the market, driving down prices. So maybe you want guaranteed no-hassle home sale, but don't want to give up hard-earned equity to do it. They can handle that. You see, Chad and Sandy can take every problem you think you have and replace it with a promise. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. The success stories are rolling in. Mike and Lisa in McCormick. We inherited a family home that came with equity but also a mortgage. We needed to sell fast to avoid extra expenses on a second mortgage. We heard about Chad and Sandy on the radio and called. Everything they say on the radio is true. The home sold in 3 days for full asking price. Call Chad and Sandy today, 904-414-6200, or go to chadandsandy.com. That's ChadAndSandy.com.
Bet live with Hard Rock Bet. Real-time wagering till the very last play. Missing the kickoff doesn't mean all bets are off.
Delay a game on the guy who hasn't bet yet.
Sometimes you just know your team is going to come back. The sportsbook for every kind of player. Hard Rock Bet. Roll with us. Get up to $100 back if your first bet doesn't win. Payable and bonus bet up to $100, not a cash offer. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
This is Tony Baselli, Pro Football Hall of Famer. I was known for protecting our quarterback. These days, I'm extending that protection to a different arena, your home. I have partnered with Heritage Roofing of North Florida, your premier local roofers with over 25 years of experience. Heritage is your go-to roofer for hurricane preparation with same-day inspections and estimates. They also work with all insurance companies. Let Heritage Roofing of North Florida safeguard your home and family. Visit heritagenfl.com for your free estimate today.
State license CCC 1335410.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
It's all about the beautiful game. The Sporting Jack Soccer Hour. From national teams to youth soccer on the First Coast. Join Cole Pepper, Mauricio Ruiz, and Becky Burley for Soccer Talk. Tuesday at 6 p.m. on 1010 a.m.
Cigar smokers, Cigars International Superstore is now open at the Town Center. A massive 6,200 square foot space with over 600 cigar brands. A full-service bar, indoor and outdoor lounges with flat-screen TVs. Grand opening event this Saturday with live music, raffles, and specials. Enjoy $5 off a $25 purchase or more. Just mention code RadioXL at checkout. Don't miss the new Cigars International Superstore grand opening at the Town Center this Saturday.
Now, it's time to showcase the Crown Royal Special Teams Player of the Game. Live generously and life will treat you royally.
Logan Cook gave a steamy performance on Sunday against the Vikings. The Jacksonville punter had 5 punts for 274 yards, with his longest punt going for 68 yards. Cook sliced and diced the opposition on his way to a spectacular showing, and he's your Crown Royal Special Teams Player of the Game.
Arrested? Got traffic tickets? DUI? License problems? Gun charges? Drug charges? If you've been charged with any crime, call me, criminal defense attorney Malcolm Anthony, at 285-4LAW. That's 285-4LAW.
Clean air,
cool air? Both are extremely important. Trust Florida Home AC to deliver on both with their Remy Halo, the next generation of air quality technology. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC and breathe clean and cool air.
Cyber threats don't take time outs. Protect your business with DoubleCheck Cybersecurity's AI-powered solutions. Get 24/7 defense and stop hackers before they score. Don't wait. Visit doublecheck.com to schedule your free security consultation today.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Rick Ballou on an issue he has with the Jaguars offense.
They did not try to get their best football player the ball. 0 targets in the first half for Brian Thomas Jr. Look at Sam Darnold. Look at all the picks that he threw. Look at all the mistakes that he made. What did he do, though? He tried to get the football to Jefferson. He tried to get the football to his best player. Mistakes are going to happen in every game. And there's always an excuse for a mistake. But if you're going to lose a ball game, don't do it by throwing an errant pass to Gabe Davis, right? Where is Brian Thomas?
Rick Ballou on Into the Night. I'm Andrew Gibson with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jeff Lageman Tuesday is serviced by Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
All right, Jeff Lageman on a Check the Tape Tuesday. 12-7, Jags fall to the Vikings. Their 6th loss by 5 or fewer points on the season, most in the National Football League. Logs, we get this one on Twitter from Leland. Leland says, I might be crazy, but I still think there's a lot of talent on this team, but they don't have any chemistry from his point of view. On paper, we should be good, but we just aren't. Who do we blame? Coaches, injuries, players? I'm all out of answers.
Yeah, I think you blame everybody when you're not playing well and you're essentially rated the worst team in the National Football League with, the first pick in the draft coming up right now. I mean, that's...
you are what your record says you are. Right?
That's a fact. And, I think that, there are holes in this roster. Has been, I think coaching moves that could have been a little bit better. I think everybody's to blame. I mean, when you're playing as bad as they are, and I know that, a lot of people keep pointing, well, you've lost by however many points in every game. The reality is that's the National Football League.
And the reality is they always say good teams win those close games, or they're more than their share of those close games.
I don't know what the numbers are, but I would love to go and look at the other teams that have the same number of wins and see what their average margin of loss is and compare the two, because I would bet that it's really not that different.
I don't know. Jags have had 2 bad losses, obviously, to Chicago and Buffalo, but played it close. You're right. I mean, the NFL is set up to
what it is
to be close, but we do see blowouts. The Jags last 3 weeks playing NFC contenders, and they're right there with all of them, at least in the end. And they may have started slowly in a couple of cases, or in this case, finished slowly this week.
Yeah, I think the disappointing thing about this past game is that, Minnesota had been, coming out of the gate hot, in every game. I mean, one of the highest scoring teams in the first quarter in the National Football League, one of the most restrictive defenses in the first quarter in the National Football League. And you won the first quarter. You're like, all right, here we go. Great start, against a team that's used to getting a great start. And then you just couldn't maintain anything.
I wonder, though, because they struggled last week, or the previous week against Indianapolis as well, and had a miserable first half.
Yes.
And then Darnold threw 3 touchdowns in the second half. In fact, his sack fumble, which I think he got hit in the head, should have been overturned. But anyways, that was the only touchdown of the game for Indianapolis, came in that first half. So that's how bad it was for him. And, maybe, the league's catching up, or he's settling back to his, more to the median of what he is.
Yeah, I would say it's a little bit of that.
Capable of being.
But, I give the Vikings credit. I mean, they're doing a good job of managing what they have. I thought the trade that they pulled off for Cam Robinson was exceptional for them. Not so much for the Jaguars. And from talking to some of their staff members prior to the game, I mean, they were static.
Well, I don't know how they felt after the game. Cam Robinson was credited with giving up 11 pressures, worst in his career this week.
No,
Walker Little gave up 0, by the way.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not criticizing, one guy over the other as far as play-wise. I'm just saying that to be able to get a starting caliber left tackle for the Minnesota Vikings right before the trade deadline for the cost of what they got him is pretty amazing. Not many teams can do that.
Well, Jags only got the 1 sack, right, in the game, but did you see Josh Hines-Allen getting a lot of pressure at the expense of Cam Robinson? Was it obvious on film?
I think it happened. There was a lot early, and then Cam settled down.
Okay.
I don't. If the count was 11, I'd be surprised at that. I didn't think it was that much.
That was the number that was floating around on the internet.
Yeah. There was the one early on. Josh put him on his back.
Oh yeah, it was
right on that third down.
He did. He lifted him and threw him.
Great one by Josh.
By the way, Cam Robinson on the Savage interception. Like Savage is like 2 yards out of bounds. Comes over there, hits him late.
Yeah, it was like a yard out of bounds. I mean, clearly a penalty.
Right.
Clearly a penalty.
Would you have liked to seen a more robust response from the Jaguar sideline on that?
No, I thought they handled themselves really good. I did. I think they, look, in that situation, don't negate the advantage of the personal foul penalty that's going to get called on him by, doing something stupid yourself. But I thought they had a great response. They surrounded him and kind of let him know that's not okay. And
we're going to have some stern words for you, Cam.
But it was, look, I mean, would you like to look if it's a quarterback that gets a hit like that on the sideline, it's game on.
Right.
Okay.
But
I want to see fists throwing. I want to see.
That's what I'm saying. The Savage is defenseless at that point.
No, sure.
He's clearly out of bounds. I thought it was dirty as hell.
Yeah, it was definitely a cheap shot. But again, if it's a safety and it's an interception, let's get the advantage of the penalty. If it's your quarterback, who cares about the advantage? It's time for blood.
Got to send a message. To Leland's point in his question of them having chemistry. Like Doug Peterson will say, and I'm not saying this is exactly the same, so I'm asking your opinion, but Doug will say, hey, these guys are still in it. They're hanging on, every opportunity. They haven't quit. I haven't lost the locker room. And I think there's a lot of truth to that because I do see they're fighting to the end of these games. Their record is poor, but they're not going, oh, man. Like Tony and I talked about yesterday, it's 9-7, and you lose the fumble, right? The bad snap fumble, and the defense has got to be going, really, again? Like, you're going to ask, and they get the stop, and that's pretty late in the football game. So I thought that was evidence of that. So do they have what is chemistry? How do you define chemistry for a football team?
Well, I think chemistry is I look at chemistry as kind of a different definition than that.
Okay.
I mean, for me, that's just a matter of motivation. Chemistry is what I would call complementary football. Being able to have chemistry with players to have production. And so it's a little different. I think the team has been playing hard under some circumstances that, like at the end of the game where you're talking about where they had the fumbled exchange, I was like, uh-oh, this could be it. The dam could break. It didn't. The interception, I'm like, all right, this is probably going to be it. The dam's going to break. It didn't happen. And then after the other interception, all right, the dam's going to break again. I mean, look, they fought. I mean, and I give them credit. Philadelphia game, they fought, stayed in it. I mean, for all intents and purposes, if Nick Sirianni does a better job of handling the management of that game, the game is out of control in that game, period. But look, given the circumstances, they were able to stay in it when, by all circumstances, they should have been out of it. So, I mean, I give them credit for that. And that's, whatever you want to call that, motivation, coaching, still backing the coach, whatever you want to call that. But the chemistry part to me is playing complementary football. Okay, defense gets the takeaway. Let's put some points on the board. Okay, offense turns it over. Let's hold them to 0 points on sudden change. I mean, to me, that's chemistry.
Yeah, they haven't played a game yet this year where they've really done that, right? Like it just hadn't showed up that way, and it's hard to give the offense a passing grade, right, for the game this week. Obviously, it was the 5th worst day in franchise history from a yardage standpoint. They get the touchdown early, but nothing after that, and the 3 turnovers there late in the game. What kind of grade do you give the defense, because they did force the 3 turnovers. They were all in obviously crucial situations in the game. They hold them to just 4 field goals in part because they forced the 3 turnovers when they wound up forcing the 3 turnovers. So what kind of grade overall would you give the defense?
I'm giving them an A. I mean, look, every time you establish goals, okay, the first goal at the top of the page is win. Second goal is points allowed, which typically a goal is 17 points or less. And they didn't get to win. Look, they got allowed 12 points in a game that, for all intents and purposes, should have been and could have been a lot more, given that the offense gave the ball away 3 times at the end of that ball game. Gave the football team a chance when the offense had one of its worst days in its history. So it's hard not to give them an A in that type of scenario against a team that had been coming out hot, that's been scoring a lot of points, that has one of the most dominant receivers in football. You checked a lot of boxes in that ball game. The 400 yards allowed is not a box that got checked, okay? But overall, you gave your team every opportunity to win, and the offense just fell short, plain and simple.
Let me ask you, we'll get deeper into the offense, but since we've been talking about defense here a little bit, PFF graded Ronald Darby as the best performer this week. Got also a question from
Best
somebody
performer on Jaguars defense?
On the roster. Highest graded player for the game for the Jaguars this week. And we also got a specific question about Jarian Jones on social media. So Darby and Jones, what did you see?
I thought they played well. But to me, Tyson Campbell was the elite player on the field. I don't know what some of the metrics are and how they grade with PFF, but
it's
the eye test,
decent guideline.
Yeah, it's from the eye test. And sometimes they're kind of in sync with what I see, with my own eyes, and sometimes I look at it and I go, I don't know about that, But look, he was better than he was the week before, right?
I think Devin Lloyd might have graded out number 2, something like that.
In the game.
Yeah, this week.
I haven't seen it. I thought he was okay.
Lloyd or
Lloyd.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the one thing that I think helps this defense, and I think helped this defense overall, was they kept eyes on the quarterback. They played more zone. And look, I was really nervous about this game because, talking to Ryan Nielsen before the Philly game, he's like, look, we're going to do what we do, and we feel pretty confident, about stopping A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. And I'm like, I'm glad he's confident because I'm not feeling real good about it, and mainly because, the ability of Philly to run. And it didn't turn out to be a great day, but it was okay day. And then this past game, I heard him in this press conference say that, look, we're going to do what we do. We might do a few things different here and there, but for the most part, we're going to do what we do. And I was like, if you do what you normally do against this team, you're going to get smoked. And give them credit. They came out and they didn't do what they do. They came out and they played a lot of zone, played a defense that gave a lot of attention to an elite player, and I thought did a very good job, and I think the points on the scoreboard shows that.
All right, we'll dig in a little bit deeper on the offense when we come back, and we'll take any of your questions or comments that you'd like to pass along to Jeff at 641-1010 on the Garber Auto Mall phone lines. It's a Check the Tape Tuesday. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Pella Windows and Doors. Proud to say I've got them installed in my house, replaced all the windows, the sliding glass door a couple of years back now. The house looks fantastic. I'm more energy efficient than ever. Pella Windows and Doors is the way to go. If you're a homeowner looking to replace your windows, maybe you're a professional contractor looking to outfit a number of buildings. Pella Windows and Doors can help you regardless. Consumer Reports #1 in all the major window categories. Online at PellaJacks.com. Stop by their showroom on Phillips Highway. That's Pella Windows and Doors.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Someone's going to win a tailgate combo pack from Southern Steer Butcher, valued at $100, and it could be you. Yes! Every month you'll have a shot at a Corona tailgate tent with a cooler, chair, and a collectible football. It's the ultimate tailgate. Enter at 1010XL.com.
Brackish Vodka, the official vodka of UNF Athletics, 100% made in Jacksonville, is available at all local liquor stores. Visit Browdy's, Total Wine, ABC, Shores, Golden, Sahara's, Golden Ox, and more. Drink our gluten-free San Francisco Spirit award-winning vodka and see why it's the smoothest vodka you can buy. When you drink Brackish Vodka, you support all of our local employees and all the money stays in Jacksonville. Drink Brackish Vodka and live life slightly salty. Proud partner of the Jaguars.
3D Digital has you covered for any of your business's digital marketing needs. From producing award-winning videos to getting those digital ads to follow your customers around the internet, our team has your back. Visit 3ddigital.com or give us a call at 904-712-4004 to schedule a free consultation today. 904-712-4004.
The last thing you want to be dealing with this holiday season is a septic emergency. Plan ahead and schedule to have your septic tank pumped out now. Our wonderful team at Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing and Septic Services is standing by and ready for your call. We'll get your septic tank pumped out right away, giving you one less thing you have to worry about this holiday season. Check out our reviews online and give us a ring today. 904-862-6769. That's 904-862-6769 or duckduckrooter.com.
American Electrical is looking for bright minds and hard workers to help light up North Florida. The community continues to grow, and now you can grow your career with a company that will make sure you succeed through commitment. Take advantage of the Electrical Academy, dedicated to training select students. And the best news? It's free of charge. Log on to american-electrical.com to find out more. They're leading the way in electrical contractors on the First Coast, and you can be part of the team. American Electrical, powered by professionalism. Equal opportunity employer.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialist, congratulating this week's high school scholar athlete, Lucas Elliott, senior golfer at Atlantic Coast High. Lucas is a member of the National and Spanish Honor Societies and has applied to the University of Florida and Florida State. Congratulations, Lucas.
If you're like most Americans, you have a ton of credit card debt and you're paying insane interest rates on that debt every month. Same for car loans and personal loans. Stop getting ripped off. Let Loan Pronto consolidate that debt for you at a significantly lower rate using the equity in your home. Hey, it's Prosper here, and Loan Pronto's Express Equity Line of Credit can get you up to $500,000. So you can consolidate your debt in as fast as 5 days. Their average client saves over $1,000 every month by doing this. Right now is the best time to act. With an Express Equity Line of Credit, you can access up to 90% of your home's equity, usually without an appraisal. Don't put it off. Get your financial house in order for the new year and call Loan Pronto now to see what you can save. It's a free quote and there's no credit pull, unlike the other guys. Call now, 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Hi, Jags fans. Walker Little here for my friends at Kingfish Pest Control. Playing offensive line in the NFL, I must block and protect on every down. When it comes to keeping my home pest-free, I expect that same level of protection. So I contacted Kingfish after seeing thousands of positive online customer reviews about their service. I can confirm from personal experience, bugs don't stand a chance getting past Kingfish Pest Control. Do what I did. Reach out to Kingfish Pest Control to protect your home, a proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
The Golf Club of Southampton has plenty going on, from a great round to a round with your buds, soaking up some football and great grub. Every Saturday and Sunday at Southampton, enjoy their game day special. Wings tossed in your favorite sauce and a cold pitcher of beer. Membership opportunities to take advantage of, too. Join Southampton with a paid initiation, and you'll get a $500 gift card. Perfect for golf, pro shop purchases, or the clubhouse. Check it out. It's all happening at the Golf Club of Southampton.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Pickett here with my concierge doctor, Richard Townsend. Doc T, how does a concierge direct primary care operate?
We are a membership-based primary care made directly between a patient and physician. We'll have a limited amount of patients that allows us to give unlimited access and personal service to you. This individualized approach has been shown to lower hospitalizations as well as maintain healthier lives. We also give 24/7 access via phone to me outside of our scheduled office hours.
To learn more, go to mypvconcierge.com.
Welcome to ABS Advanced Business Solutions, your local print management partner and home to Xerox and HP copiers.
Advanced Business Solutions.
GoABSinc.com.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. November is Veterans Month, and Awaken 180 is honoring all active duty veterans and spouses with 15% off our entire program, plus the same free support for life all clients receive. Celebrate Veterans Month with 50% off at awaken180weightloss.com.
There are 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and if you stay in your home long enough, a new roof. Pick it here for our friends at Lockhart Roofing. Nobody better in Jacksonville. How do I know? They are a local certified Master Elite contractor, and that means they have a GAF Master Elite warranty. That's the best in the roofing industry. In this day and age, don't settle for cheaper discount roofers. Lockhart Roofing has been here for decades. They aren't going anywhere. Call my friends at Lockhart Roofing, 994-3851. That's 994-3851. Lockhart Roofing, Jacksonville's best for Jacksonville people.
Here's your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update, sponsored by First Coast Honda Dealers. Get head coach Billy Napier remarked on DJ Lagway being available against LSU.
Soft tissue is a very subjective injury. I think it's day to day, but we do anticipate him practicing.
The Jacksonville University men's basketball team lost on the road to Furman Monday. We had a scoring drought, and they did a great job, said head coach Jordan Lindsay. The JU Dolphins return home to Swisher Gymnasium on Thursday to take on the South Carolina State Bulldogs. Monday Night Football saw the Miami Dolphins hang on to their hopes for the season as the team's defense kept the LA Rams out of the end zone and got the victory. Dolphin quarterback Tua Tagovailoa hopes this is the start of a streak.
I think this is something that we can continue to build on, we can continue to grow on.
At your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update, I'm Sam Nelson.
At 10:58, it's 77 degrees. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler, Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jeff Lageman Tuesday
is brought to you by
Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
All right, continuing along here with Jeff Lageman on a Check the Tape Tuesday. I'm looking at this. Somebody on the text line. This is why I don't trust people sending stats. Okay, we're talking about average margin of loss for the teams that only have 2 wins, and are the Jags playing closer games than other teams? And they said, well, here's what I found: average margin of loss for the Titans is 2.8 points. Okay, let's see.
That's not true.
They lost by 7, 16, 3, 24. They lost 52-14. And then 27-17. What are you talking about? Yeah. Like maybe 28 points? What are you talking about? 2.8 points.
Yeah.
That has got to be the worst math I've ever seen done since my SATs.
Yeah, that's
Come on.
a rough one.
I mean, they lost 52-14.
Is that more their average margin of victory?
They won 31-12 and 20-17. So no.
Okay, no.
Right. And if you roll in, okay, well, that one game against Miami, they had a 19-point differential in their favor. It still doesn't come close to the 52-14 that they got beat down by. So I don't know where people get these things, but people send me stuff, and sometimes they're like, why didn't you read that? Because that's why. Because I don't trust you. I don't know who you are. And I'm just not going to trust you.
I would bet, I mean, and we can do that during the next break or whatever, to actually do an average margin of loss for the teams that only have 2 wins. And because I'm willing to say that it's probably not that different than the Jaguars. It might be a point or 2, difference, but I can't imagine it being that drastically different.
Yeah, well, I mean, certainly, maybe not, but we got to work with actually factual numbers.
We'll have to actually do the
Yes, do the math. All right, let's go to the lines here at 641-1010 on the Garber Auto Mall phone lines. Alex calling from New Smyrna. What's up, Alex?
Hey, how you guys doing? I just want to voice out a concern. It's really hard watching a game when you're watching it and you get burned by a guy that you used to have on your roster. That kid from San Jose State, what's his name? Josh Oliver or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what I'm trying to ask is, how do you guys know when to give up on a guy? Like what goes into that? Because that kid, I think he might have been like a 5th round, 6th round pick.
He was a 3rd round pick.
Probably had about 4 or 5 catches.
Oh, he was a 3rd round pick.
3rd round pick. I mean, we invested a 2nd round pick in Brenton Strange. I just feel like when we do team building, we always try to go and replace what we've had, and I just feel like we don't take the best available. Like there, we could have invested it maybe in a lineman or a defensive lineman or something like that. I'll just take my comments off air, boss.
Thanks.
And it's in Josh Oliver's case, I definitely believe that they didn't have enough patience with him
At all.
He's
here for 2 years, and he was hurt the whole time.
Part of that is that, when you have the constant regime change, okay, there's a lot of players that sometimes get thrown out just because they were part of the old. You know what I mean? And I thought that there should have been more patience with Josh Oliver. But it wasn't the case. I mean, it's not like he's turned into, a 7-time Pro Bowl or anything like that, but he's a good football player you'd like to have on your roster.
Yeah. Who was that?
There's certain guys on the roster that you've had over the years that I would say that you had too much patience with.
Was that Caldwell who drafted him?
I don't remember.
I'm looking right now. Balky has been the GM.
It was in 19.
Yeah, so it would be Caldwell who drafted him. And I feel like
but there was a regime. I think maybe they cut him after Coughlin came aboard and they changed head coaches because you remember there was multiple coaches kind of going along with Caldwell.
Definitely the guy in charge of personnel changed in Trent Baalke, and I feel like sometimes like guys are going to get rid of old regime's players. You know what I mean? Like this.
Yeah, that definitely happens. I mean, it's that's not something that's I think isolated with the Jaguars where you get a new general manager and then you get a lot of the old. I mean, if you look at like the Washington Commanders, the amount of turnover that they've had from the previous regime's draft picks and acquisitions that literally got shown the door this year with the change in Washington was dramatic.
But the question is, how often are those like quality mid-round, like that's a third-round pick. Quincy Williams was a third-round pick that the Jags let go, and he's been starring for the Jets for the last few years.
Well, and that, again, Mike, that's just part of, when you don't have any stability as an organization, it's hard to have any kind of consistency in the decision-making. And I think that hurts, because when reality is that when you do have, a regime change, then you have the desire to get in your guys, and that moves out the old guys, and sometimes that's discarded as good football players.
Yeah, Josh Oliver, he's not a world beater, but he's a big physical guy, has become a reasonable second tight end pass catching option for that team, and filled in fine when DJ Hawkinson was out along with Johnny Munt, and he's a good player.
Really good player. And Hawkinson, wow. I mean, the performance that he had, second game back from an ACL reconstruction, super impressed by him.
All right, let's go to Joe on the west side. Sorry, Log, didn't mean to cut you off there. We can get back to that if you want to. Joe, you're on Jaguars Today. Go ahead, please.
Hey, what's happening, fellas? Good
what's up?
To hear from you. I want to believe, I asked Jeff, Mr. Lageman, could it be that we just stepped in some boo-boo and we just can't get it off our shoe? Is that possible?
That's a great visual picture there.
Just stepped in it and it's if we just can't get it off.
But what is it? What is it when you translate to what football is? Are you saying we're just cursed with bad luck, or what are you saying here?
No, I wouldn't say because we done had 2017 we had success. We done had some success. But like this year, I really want to believe the talent we have on the team is there, and then we're in the game. We're losing by one here, two. I kind of look at Kansas City. I shouldn't do that, but they winning games at the end, and it could be we just stepped in some buzzer luck. Could that be possible?
Okay. What do you think, Logs? Thanks, Joe. Appreciate
the visual picture, Joe.
Some boo-boo. Got boo-boo on my shoe.
I think there's, look, even though it's a much different analogy, I think there's something to that as far as getting over the hump. When you can't kind of finally get it, I think there's a constant waiting of failure to happen, and that's kind of a lack of confidence. So a lack of, hey, we're going to make it because we've done it before. You go back to this team's performance last year in the last 6 games where they lost 5 out of the last 6. It's like, to use Joe's description, it's like they haven't been able to shake it off the shoe since then. Will all of a sudden things change if you get one win? Well, it hasn't happened. When they got Indianapolis and you got the Patriots, you were thinking, okay, here we go. Some time to get rolling here. And then that didn't happen. So I wish it was just simply cleaning the shoe off and rolling forward, but that doesn't seem to be the case.
All right, Joe, we appreciate it. We'll get back to your calls in a second, but first let's take a look around the NFL.
Now, Gems Around the NFL, brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
Indianapolis has named Joe Flacco as their starting quarterback against the Jets this week. The Colts are 0-2 since Flacco was named the starter there in Indianapolis. The Pittsburgh Steelers are signing return specialist and wide receiver Jamal Agnew to their practice squad. Chicago head coach Matt Eberflus said yesterday that Caleb Williams will remain the team's starting quarterback. Adam Schefter mentioning him potentially being replaced on the Pat McAfee show yesterday, prompting some clarification in that regard. And the team is in the process of evaluating their struggling offense, with this morning the Bears have fired offensive coordinator Shane Waldron. Buffalo Bills head coach Sean McDermott has already ruled out wide receiver Keon Coleman for the second week in a row with a wrist injury, so he won't be going against Kansas City this week. The Bills are also opening the 21-day practice window for linebacker Matt Milano as he works back from a biceps injury. Detroit tight end Sam Laporta is day-to-day with a shoulder injury that he suffered on Sunday night against Houston. Minnesota running back Aaron Jones, day-to-day with a ribs injury. Green Bay running back Marshawn Lloyd has been designated to return from IR, and Tampa Bay left tackle Tristan Wirfs is expected to miss a couple of weeks after an MRI on Monday confirmed an MCL sprain, which was what it was thought to be when he suffered the injury on Sunday.
All right, thank you very much, Tony. I haven't done them all, but I did the Titans.
What do you got?
15 points, average margin of loss.
Yeah.
They try to tell us 2.8 is what somebody. 50.
Yeah.
Their average loss is by 15 points.
Who's that?
The Titans.
Titans. Okay.
All right. So I just started the math here.
Looking at the teams that we're talking about here, the 2-win teams, they're going to be the worst. With
the
15.
Titans?
Yeah. They're going to be the worst. Because I just got the point differential totals for all the teams. The Raiders were at 90, the Browns at 74, the Titans at 105, the Giants at 81. And I also looked at
that's
each of
their
those,
losses.
in their losses. And I also looked at their records in one-score games, right? The Giants have a win in a one-score game this year. They're 1-4. The Titans are 1-3 in one-score games. The Browns are 2-4. The Raiders are 2-2 in one-score games. The Jags are the dregs, right? They haven't come through in one of those situations. It's
in one-score game. Well, they beat the Colts in a one-score game.
They got the one. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying they,
Well, they made that a one-score game, boy.
I hear you. Let's go to Kirk in Tennessee. Next up, Kirk, you're on Jaguars Today. Go ahead.
Hey, guys. Good morning.
What's up?
First of all, as I always do, thank you for taking my call. Jeff, Mike, Tony, love hearing everything you guys say. First of all, I got two questions. First of all, Mercedes Lewis. He's in his, 18th year in the NFL, and he was drafted by the Jags in 2006. And I guess first round or something, third round, whatever. Why haven't we were talking about developing players earlier. This is what I see as the continuing problem. We continue to let players that we develop go and grab new players, and then we have no continuity. Does that make sense to anybody? I'll take your calls on your answers off here. Thank you.
No, I appreciate the comment. And by the way, are you typewriting right now?
I don't know. First of all, he said, first of all, like 6 times. So, first of all,
again, continuity in an organization is kind of what disrupts not only not having patience, but then sometimes losing patience with a really good football player like a Mercedes Lewis, like a Darryl Smith. I mean, guys that can still play football and good football for many years to come, but you're of the mindset of, we got to rebuild, and, by the time we get good, that player won't be good anymore. I mean, sometimes I think that's a mistake in taking that approach. I think the Ravens do a really good job of having patience with some of the older players. And then also they have patience with some of the younger players. But if you look at them as an organization, they have been one of the most stable organizations, arguably, in the National Football League. Baltimore, Pittsburgh, the teams that have had success consistently year in and year out, Kansas City since Andy Reid has been there, those are the teams that have consistency. There's always a couple things in common with those teams, though. Great quarterback play and great coaching.
And also,
great general managers and organizational operation.
Sometimes you lose veterans because you can't offer them the same role that somebody else can, right? For instance, I had people hit me up last night. Oh, here's Calais Campbell having another good game. Why didn't we bring him back? Well, they tried to, but he was not going to be a starter once they drafted Trayvon Walker with the number 1 overall pick, and you've got Josh Hines-Allen. He doesn't want to play inside anymore. So Atlanta and Miami the last 2 years said, yeah, play end. Go right ahead. And we don't have a starting spot at end available for Calais Campbell, and maybe he looked at Miami and said that they were closer to winning anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like at this point, what is Calais looking to do?
You've got to have both sides that are on board with it, and again, it's not always, with the older players, it's definitely, you got to have the player on board. With the younger player, the younger player really doesn't have a say in the matter. But with a guy like Calais, there's a lot of different things that may sway him to a different place or making a different decision.
All right, let's get Thomas in Arlington before we hit the break. Thomas, go ahead. You're on Jaguars Today.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Duval. And I haven't heard that for a week.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, Jeff, I don't really think it's time for coaching changes. I really don't. The team isn't winning, but they're only losing by a score. I just think they need to work a little bit more, and maybe there's a problem in the locker room. I kind of doubt that. But, Jeff, what are your thoughts?
Well, I don't think there's any issues in the locker room at all. I think it's a good locker room. I think they've done a good job of bringing players in that buy into the program and that are team players. I almost wish that there was a little bit more edge in some cases in the locker room, because I think when you have a little bit of edge, sometimes it gets the team going a little bit. But, again, I think you make a good point in that, look, constant change is not good, but sometimes change can be good. And, the change doesn't necessarily have to be, ripping it down and then starting all over again. I think there's a lot of different things that can occur to where an organization can have success and can do things the right way. But right now, I mean, it's what they're doing right now is not working, and there definitely needs to be change of some kind.
All right, let's pause on that note. We can develop that further on the other side. If you want to get in, 641-1010 on the Garber Auto Mall phone lines here. This is Jaguars Today on a Check the Tape Tuesday with Jeff Lageman in studio on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. He's fearless in the face of danger when entering enemy territory.
What is your mission?
Get insights and interviews from Jags beat reporter Hayes Carline when he takes you behind enemy lines. Brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors on 1010XL.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Epic offers. Factory direct pricing on AC equipment from Epic Cool Heating and Air. Call 904-859-EPIC. Epic discounts for military, police, first responders, and 1010 listeners like you. Epic Cool Heating and Air.
Universal Roof and Contracting presents the Offensive Player of the Game. Universal Roof and Contracting. The difference is universal.
Evan Ingram was dynamic for Jacksonville while in the Sunshine State against Minnesota. The 6'3" tight end tallied 6 receptions for 40 yards, averaging about 6.7 yards per catch. Double E was bounding and astounding all game long, and he's your Universal Roof and Contracting Offensive Player of the Game.
Break in the savings this fall with Universal Roof and Contracting. Enjoy 15% off all roof repairs and replacements, plus a free wind mitigation inspection. With financing options as low as $115 a month, protecting your home has never been easier. Schedule your free roof inspection today. Call 855-ROOF-HELP. Offer expires November 30th. Protect your home and your wallet.
License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwoods. Clayton, in talking about the quality of cut of a diamond, is there a particular diamond cutter that's known as the best?
Frank, the answer is yes, and that would be Hearts on Fire, who have the world's most perfectly cut diamond, and we have them now at Underwoods. When anybody comes in and looks at one of these diamonds, the first thing they say is, wow! That's because these diamonds are cut from absolute maximum beauty and are really worth seeing, so you have an idea of how good a diamond can really look. They have perfect polish, perfect symmetry, and perfect proportions, and are backed up with an American Gem Society diamond quality document. Now, not every diamond could be a Hearts on Fire diamond because only certain rough diamonds in the hands of the most skilled cutters working in state-of-the-art cutting facilities can cut these. In fact, only 200 diamond cutters out of the 1 million people employed in the diamond cutting trade are skilled enough to cut Hearts on Fire diamonds.
See Hearts on Fire now at Underwoods, San Marco, Avondale, the shops of Ponte Vedra, Underwood Jewelers.
These are interesting economic times. That's why it's so important to have someone you can count on. That's ITP Partners. Jacksonville folks taking care of our Jacksonville money. Experience? You best believe you want to give your hard-earned money to folks you trust. Jeff Hartman, Chris Bryan, Dan Abel, Reed Wingate, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reagan Wright have the expertise and knowledge to help clients in their financial lives, focusing on investment management, financial planning, and risk management. ITP Partners. Financial partners for life. Securities offered through American Portfolios Financial Services, Inc. Member FINRA SIPC.
Free pizza. Lauren Brooks here. Royal Pest Control says thanks for your business. And they're offering a free slice of Tony D's Pizza while supplies last this Friday noon to 2 as we broadcast live at Tony D's, corner of Bay Meadows and 295.
Hello, I'm Malcolm Anthony. I've been practicing criminal defense law for over 40 years. It's what I love to do. It's what I do well. Stay out of trouble, but if you don't, call me, Malcolm Anthony, at 285-4LAW. 285-4LAW. For Malcolm Anthony.
So, Ammon, when was the last time that you cleaned your air ducts?
Dad, I manage the air duct cleaning at Zero Res. Trust me, my ducts are cleaner than the plates after Thanksgiving dinner.
Well, I hope so, but it's not just you I'm thinking of. Everyone in Jacksonville should get their air ducts cleaned before the holidays.
You're right. Even though we don't blast the heat like up north, we still trap dust and allergens when the windows stay shut. All that gunk just recirculates through your home and makes your air quality worse.
So you're saying Zero Res air duct cleaning keeps my air fresh and ready for my holiday guests?
Exactly. Clean ducts means cleaner air, just in time for Thanksgiving. Plus, we've got a November special running right now. Call Zero Res today and we'll give you $50 off. No more dust, just fresh, clean air for you and your family this holiday season.
Sounds good, son. Now, how about that family discount?
We'll see, Dad.
Visit ZeroResJacksonville.com or call now. Zero Res,
spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
If you're ready to transform your yard with a fence that stands out, elevate your curb appeal with Superior Fence and Rail. Superior takes pride in offering first-class service, friendly installers, and unmatched fence products. Mention this ad and get $250 off your next project. It's time to get off the fence and call today.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Bud Light and everyone at Anheuser-Busch want to remind you to get home safely every time. People are counting on you on the road and at home. Plan ahead with safe rides and don't forget to hydrate between beers. Bud Light encourages everyone to enjoy responsibly and socialize safely.
Hey, it's Tony from Tony D's Pizza. If you love our pizza and pasta dishes, let us cater an event for you. Family function or office parties, we can deliver you an amazing Italian meal. Remember, it's not just pizza at Tony D's. Bay Meadows and 295.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jeff Lageman Tuesday is serviced by Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
Somebody asked, didn't Quincy Williams hit Josh Oliver in training camp and hurt his knee? It seems like I remember that, and it's odd that they're both gone. I
thought it was Wingard.
Was it Wingard? Okay, yeah. I don't recall the specifics of that.
Yeah.
So hard to say. I mean, look, again, we're not trying to get too far down the Josh Oliver rabbit hole here, but
yeah,
when a guy that you had and you invested a significant pick in, you know, like he was here for 2 years. off injured, right? Well, Brenton Strange didn't do anything his rookie season. And, one more. If Strange had gotten injured in training camp this year, he'd have basically the same production that Josh Oliver would have had, which is none, right, for his first 2 years. We going to punt on him? Right. You know what I mean? And somebody else said, hey, man, we're making it out like this guy's Shannon Sharp. He's not Shannon Sharp. He has 17 catches. Strange has 20 with more yards. He's also a second-round pick. You invested more in the guy, so.
But you invested because you gave up on the other investment.
Yes, right. If you had the other investment and he was developing at.
You still might have made that investment, though.
Maybe you would have. Maybe you wouldn't have. You don't know.
Maybe you would have taken an offensive lineman.
Like
in the second
Osiris
round
Torrance.
Yeah.
He was staring you right in the face.
What they would have done.
Who knows? Logs.
So we got some resolution to the average margin of defeat.
Yes. Do we have all the? We've got a lot of the numbers.
We got it. With the teams that have 2 wins, we do. We
correct.
have all of them.
You got them all handy?
I wrote them down. Yeah,
all right.
I wrote them down.
Because we're all doing math on different
we were
teams.
all
so we've put this all together. We hope this is accurate.
Yeah.
So Cleveland was 10.7. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I got
that's
the right.
10.7.
10.7 is the average margin of defeat.
Just taking their defeats and averaging that, not factoring in their wins and those points.
Okay, Tennessee's 15.
15 points on average.
Vegas is 12.8.
Okay.
The Giants 14.1, and the Jaguars 10.1. Now, compare that to what we all kind of consider some of the elite franchises in the National Football League, and obviously they don't have the number of losses, but they still have losses. So let's just look at those numbers. Baltimore's average margin of loss is 5. Pittsburgh is 3. Detroit is 4. Green Bay, 5.6. So again, that's just the league that it's tight scoring, but. And to say that the Jaguars are in every game and they're just a hair away, not really.
Right, but I will say, and there's a big difference. I mean, 4 points is a big difference because how many games are decided by 3 points or less, right? So if you are that team, if you're Green Bay, just that one stuck with me, 5.6. Okay, well, that's every loss that you've had. And granted, that's probably why you have fewer losses because you're playing closer games overall. You're better talent level, better execution, but I look at Tennessee and say, wow, 15 is miserable, right?
Not very good.
Right? And so the Jags at 10, and you're like, I get the close ones. We've had a bunch of close ones, but we also had 2 blowouts, right? And that balances it out. But everyone's got that chance, right? Everyone goes out there every single week and plays these games. So Tennessee's losing by more than 2 touchdowns a week. That is clearly significantly worse than where the Jags are. But the Jags are clearly significantly worse than those teams. You just asked us on the break, who are the teams with kind of the best foundation, the best run organizations? And we just threw about a half dozen, and those are why you went with those squads right there. We didn't know. We weren't trying to cherry pick teams we thought were playing close games.
No.
We're just talking about the well-run organizations around the NFL.
That's correct.
So
that's numbers.
There you have it. This one, Logs, is interesting to me. This is from Bush Drive Rich. Now, I don't know if you saw John Shipley's column at SI covering the Jags yesterday, and he described the Jaguars offense as an eat your vegetables offense, right?
Okay.
Like nothing fancy about it. And now, whether you agree with that or not, I'm just kind of setting the stage because I think
I'm trying to understand the eat your vegetables. So, I mean, what does that mean?
Like, here's what we do. We're not going to trick it up much. It's vegetables are you got to have them. You got to have some basic runs, some basic passes. The building blocks, the fundamentals, but there's nothing fancy. You're not going to some Michelin star restaurant and getting something drizzled on your plate for $800, right?
Okay.
It's just
I got you.
Meat and potatoes.
I got you.
Eat your vegetables, what have you. Now, that's one perspective. And a lot of people feel like the Jags offense is too simple, okay? On the other side, here's Rich asking this. With the miscues that we continue to have on offense, is it safe to say that the complexity of the playbook is the problem and not the players themselves? Miscues like running the wrong routes, receivers running the same routes or in the same area, being confused at checks at the line of scrimmage. You tell me, Lugs, where on the spectrum of complexity does the Jags offense fall?
Are we drizzling or are we eating our vegetables?
Well, yeah, right, exactly. Right? So what are we doing here? What kind of offense is this, in your opinion?
That's a great question. I think I don't think it's a complex offense overly. I think at times that, it does require some thinking to it.
But doesn't every offense in the NFL?
But, here's the thing. The great offenses, whether they're eat your vegetables or whether you put a fancy bloated drizzle or, salt and pepper, spice them up, whatever.
If you're salting it up here like that.
The best ones are the ones that work, and I don't think that there's ever one particular formula for an offense to work. I mean, look, Baltimore doesn't have this overly complex offense. It's actually a very simple offense, but they have a guy who is an absolute beast of a quarterback and a guy who is a monster of a running back. And that's how they go. Everybody accomplishes it differently.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you look at Kyle Shanahan's offense, it's so simplistic. Maybe the most simplistic offense that there is. It's zone run and it's play action off of that. That's it. There's really nothing more to it. But they execute it extremely well. You go back to Jim Kelly in the K-Gun days, okay, which at that particular time in NFL history, many people viewed that as being groundbreaking, right? I mean, 3 wide receivers all the time. What? Are you kidding me?
Sometimes 4.
And it wasn't complex. I mean, they ran literally belly weak and belly strong. That was their running game. And then they ran play action off of that and drop back passes. I mean, it wasn't complex. And so there's not one pattern or one formula of offense that works in the National Football League. A lot of times it's a combination of both that have success.
All right, we'll come back. I've got a kind of a question of the day for you here that we'll get into in terms of the quarterback position on this football team. And still time for you to get in with a question or a comment for Jeff Lageman on a Check the Tape Tuesday. We'll be checking those social media responses and the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures as well. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Jeff Lageman, and Dylan Denmark here with you on a Check the Tape Tuesday on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Let me tell you a little something that dawned on me today. It's not just about weight loss with Awaken 180. Obviously, that's the thing that you see. You see yourself in the mirror. Other people see you. They comment, hey, you're looking great. What are you doing? Awaken 180 Weight Loss has been great for me. But you know what else? When you start eating better, when your body starts operating more efficiently, your numbers, I'm talking about your medical numbers, are going to look better. I went in just this morning to get a biomedical screening, they call it. They check out all your cholesterol, all these things. My good cholesterol in the right range. My bad cholesterol is in the right range. Whatever the heck triglycerides are, they're in the right range as well. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that I've been able to get in better shape simply thanks to Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Have a goal, set that goal. Awaken 180 can lay out the roadmap to help you reach that goal like they've done with over 24,000 satisfied customers. Call 844-346-1800. If you want to feel better, schedule a free consultation online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios.
Want to be up close and personal with the Jaguars as they take the field? Here's your chance to be in the shadows, outside the Jaguars locker room, now called the Vault. Enter today at everbank.com/shadows. One winner and a guest for every home game at Everbank Stadium. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the United States and D.C. 18 and older. Entry periods for the Shadow Sweepstakes promotion from 8/19/24 to 12/15/24. For official rules and complete details, visit everbank.com/shadows. Sponsored administrator, Everbank N.A. member FDIC.
Hey, gang, Prosser here to save you some cash. Maximize your home sale now with the market experts who deliver more money in less time, and those experts are Chad and Sandy Newman. Maybe you're worried about costly repairs or upgrades needed to sell your home. You don't have to worry. The worries are relieved with Chad and Sandy, the local real estate experts we are trusting and recommending with the sale of your home. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. Mortgage rates are down. It's time to create your market. Marvin in Cobblestone writes, my siblings and I moved our parents to Maryland so they can get some extra help as they get older. Next, we had to sell the home to get them some financial help for their extra care. We hired Chad and Sandy, and they delivered big. Chad and Sandy's team got our home sold in 7 days, above asking price. You can too. Call Chad and Sandy today, 904-414-6200, or go to chadandsandy.com. That's Chad, ANDSANDY.com.
Former Jaguars corner and first-year head football coach at Duval Charter School at Bay Meadows, K-12, Aaron Beasley here. Are you looking for an A-rated K-12 school prioritizing academics, arts, and athletics? Duval Charter School at Bay Meadows offers a rigorous curriculum to develop strong minds with an additional focus on growing good hearts. DCSB has been an A school for 8 years, and our tuition is free. Now enrolling. Apply at baymeadowscharter.org.
Attention men and women. If you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Mike from Bay Meadows.
I finally found the most experienced company who could restore my hair. Now I have hair where I had none before.
Results guaranteed. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Find out why you're losing your hair and how to grow your hair back. Call 904-777-IHRS for a limited time free hair and scalp examination.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
Thank you, IHRS.
Thanks, IHRS, for giving me my hair back.
Hurry and receive a free hair and scalp examination and get 2 weeks of laser treatments for free. Call IHRS at 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Hairforme.com.
Hey, Jaguars fans, as the official whiskey of the NFL, it's not a kickoff without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. And that's why we've built the Crown Royal Rig. An absurdly awesome 18-wheeler delivering the generous spirit to stadiums and tailgates across the country. Follow the Royal Rig on its journey from city to city, bringing together local cuisine, NFL legends, and the opportunity to pack a purple bag for charity and win tickets to Super Bowl 59. Visit crownroyal.com for rules and more, and please drink responsibly.
Get fishing tips and stories from Captain Kevin
Bite's gonna pick up pretty soon.
on the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show. Brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Whoa! Thursday nights at 6
on 1010XL AM.
Remember your first great cigar? Honestly, neither do we. But here's your chance to make a new memory with an extraordinary A.J. Fernandez cigar. Join us at Tobacco Cove, 3849 Bay Meadows Road on November 16th from 1 to 4 p.m. for our A.J. Fernandez cigar event. Enjoy food, prizes, and incredible deals on A.J. Fernandez cigars. Come for the cigars, stay for the experience at Tobacco Cove, 3849 Bay Meadows Road.
Oh my God. Oh, what's that horrible smell? Sorry. We've been waiting forever to have our septic tank pumped.
Call Duck Duck Rooter. We don't make you wait.
When you're stuck, call the duck. DuckDuckRooter.com.
I-9 Sports covers the First Coast with great sports for kids 3 to 17, and winter and spring registration is open right now. New girls volleyball and flag at Duval Charter, plus plenty for boys and girls in Nocatee, too. It's all at i9sports.com. Enter 1010 in the promo code.
Why do you choose Farah and Farah? First, we have the financial resources to take on any insurance company, and our track record proves that we know how to win. Our attorneys and staff are a team, and we've worked together for decades. To us, our job is much more than just a paycheck. We love to help. And this is important. We never forget. It's not about us. It's all about you. Farah and Farah, Jacksonville.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Pete Prisco of CBS Sports has an idea for the Jaguars.
If the Jacksonville Jaguars don't turn around their season and Doug Peterson is fired, where do they turn? How about Bill Belichick? Look, Tony Khan, who's the son of Shad Khan, the owner of the team, has a strong relationship with Bill Belichick. It would make a lot of sense. However, you don't hire him to be the general manager. Bill Belichick, head coach, was fired because Bill Belichick, general manager, wasn't good enough in the later years. So hire a general manager, make sure it's somebody that can work with Belichick if that's the direction you want to go. But he also needs to hire a good offensive mind, not the guys from his past. He needs to find new, creative offensive minds to work with Trevor Lawrence.
Pete Prisco of CBS Sports. I'm Andrew Gibson with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010 10XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
All right, check the tape Tuesday, continuing with Jeff Lageman. We'll peek ahead in a moment, must we, to what the Detroit Lions have in store for us. Hey, Sam Laporta might miss the game.
Yeah, he's got an AC issue with his shoulder.
AC joint, yeah.
Same thing Trevor supposedly has.
So get Brock Wright in your lineup. I haven't seen the Jags cover a tight end much this year.
This feels like a Clubber Lang moment.
Just kind of amazing.
Right? When he's asked before that fight. Pain.
What's
prediction for that
right?
fight?
What's your prediction?
I mean, with Minnesota having Hawkinson, and they traded away Hawkinson to the Minnesota Vikings,
Yeah.
Detroit Lions did.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what's wrong with two good tight ends? I mean, you could have Sam Laporta and Hawkinson together. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, but I guess the way they run their offense, they thought it might have been, just too much duplicating what they already have. Because you've got, you want to get your balls to Amon-Ra. Jamison Williams has had his breakout season to some degree. You got two backs you got to feed. Like, I get it, I guess, to some degree. But whatever. That's their issue, Logs. Why don't we fire up today's 10-10 take?
10-10 take.
Now, Mike Dempsey's 10-10 take. Brought to you by
Double checked. Cybersecurity made simple.
It's a couple of things I want to ask you about. So we'll start with Doug Peterson here first, okay? It seems like Doug is, and I'm not saying when you're a $275 million man, you deserve the criticism that comes. Quarterbacks get praise and criticism in undue amounts, probably, on both sides, right? But it always seems like, when he's asked about Trevor Lawrence, well, he's got to do better in this, whatever the case may be. You go out there this week, Mac Jones leads the 5th worst offensive showing in team history. That's not Mac Jones' fault. It's a team game. And then he gets into the whole, you guys are not going to be able to figure out what I'm talking about if I try to explain a simple concept to you. Is the frustration getting to Doug Peterson at this point?
Well, I think losing always gets to competitors, and that's natural. And, Doug played the position of quarterback, so I think he kind of expects more than I think most coaches because he played the position, he understands it. And with Trevor, it's kind of like, if you have a son that is extremely smart, you expect the grades to be good. So I think there's a level of expectation with Trevor that's there. I think with Mac Jones, maybe the level of expectation is not as high because he's the backup and he's thrust into a role with not having a lot of reps. So I kind of understand a little bit of that, but at the same token, I wasn't a big fan of the comment last week about the bag going over the shoulder. Is it left or is it right or something like that? Because it just kind of makes light of your starting quarterback's injury to some extent. At least I think that people can take it that way.
Right. It seems like, well, when you ask, does a left shoulder injury impact your throwing when you're a right-handed quarterback? Well, it depends on what you carry your bag on. You're almost like it can be easily heard as saying, well, if he's not out there, I don't know what his problem is because he can throw the ball. He doesn't throw it with that left shoulder. He should be out there. That's what it sounds like.
You can talk to some of the great pitchers in Major League Baseball, and I think, playing quarterback is similar in a lot of ways. And that, look, if you get an injury to any other body part besides your throwing arm, it impacts the way you throw. I mean, that's just how it is. The comment after the game, I kind of understand it from Doug's standpoint. And that, look, it's an emotional game and you're getting tough questions and you're frustrated and you're angry. But I think as a head coach, you've got to remember that you're not speaking to a member of the media. You're speaking to the fan base.
Thank you.
And you have to be aware of that at all times. And I didn't think it was a very appropriate comment there about, you wouldn't understand.
You wouldn't figure it out. And it wasn't even that complex a question. It's just like, what was the design of the play? Like, you explained it very easily. Like, it probably should have been the read to go to Brian Thomas Jr., who was open intermediate. And, we don't know. As you said, is it a skinny post or is it a go route? Because Gabe Davis is breaking it off and Mac's throwing it there. What was the design of the play? So we know what happened and who's at fault. I mean, I don't think they want us to guess, right? I mean, there's plenty of that goes on. And I will sit, we sometimes have to guess, right? Because they're not going to tell us every single thing. But I didn't think that was at
It's
all
a
an out of
situation
line
that we
question.
didn't need to be guessing at. There's no reason for it.
We're not asking you what your next week's game plan is.
Unfortunately, I've been in a locker room before and have had to answer questions after a loss. And, look, I'm sure that I haven't been at my best times too, just because, look, it's you invest a lot. And then when you don't get the results in something that you're so greatly invested, it can be very frustrating. And sometimes, one question asked or phrased in a certain way can maybe get you going, regardless of whether the phrasing was incorrect or not. Because I thought the question was very fair.
I didn't think it was antagonistic.
No, it wasn't antagonistic, and I think he would understand he's got to be better than that. Looking back at it.
All right, so putting that aside, okay? Almost knocked the microphone over. Almost putting that aside.
Thank goodness nobody was sitting there.
Yeah. Trevor Lawrence, I think majority, sometimes the squeaky minority just gets under my skin, right? And I think the majority.
No, with you, Mike?
Yeah, well, sometimes anything gets under my skin.
I don't see that.
I'm usually pretty even keel, but every once in a while. But in all seriousness, I think I would wager, I can't speak for all Jaguar fans, Stone, but we talk to a lot of them. We get a lot of feedback from them. I think well over half of them are very appreciative of the fact that Trevor Lawrence is their quarterback. Yeah. They see what his abilities are. They see the good things. Yes, they acknowledge the flaws or the areas he needs to improve on. But when you see what the offense has been able to do with Trevor Lawrence, and it's not the best offense in the league, but they're in there. They are moving the ball, and they're competitive, right? And there are situations where they've had key moments. Go drive the field and get a field goal, and they've been unable to do it. Mm-hmm. But when you see what the offense looked like this week, and again, this is not a pick on Mac Jones time. I understand he's a backup quarterback, but there's that, oh, man, if we only didn't have Trevor out there making so many mistakes. Well, Mac Jones goes out there and turns it over 3 times. Trevor hasn't done that all year. So should fans who have been skeptical of Trevor Lawrence.
Not this year anyway.
That's what I'm saying, though. This is the way he's played this year. Yeah. Because we've had, how many calls do we get, Tony? And Trevor needs to be benched, need to move on.
Well, everybody loves a backup quarterback.
Right, but should even the ones, anyone who's at all skeptical of Trevor Lawrence, and I'm not saying you can't be skeptical to some degree, right? He's not a perfect player. Nobody's suggesting that, but should we have a little bit better appreciation for what he's brought to this team and what he's capable of doing, what this offense looks like when he's in there?
Yeah, I think that when the backup quarterback has to play for any extended period of time, I mean, usually that's kind of what you end up coming away with is that, hey, look, we don't love the backup quarterback that much, because the starter is a starter for a reason, and Trevor's a good quarterback. And I think there's a lot of things that can be done to help him, whether it be offensively, defensively, team-wise, to help him out. And here's the reality. The reality is that he's still a young player that still has a ton of room for growth and development. And if anybody thinks that this is kind of the high road for Trevor, or this is the high point, his ceiling, then I think you're sorely mistaken. I mean, he's got so much more room to grow. And from that aspect, look, everybody just needs to have a little patience and I don't want to say understanding, but patience.
If there's a coaching change, and I'm not asking you to advocate one way or the other, okay? But if Shad Khan decides we got to get a new coaching staff in here, whether it's before the end of the season or at the end of the season, is Trevor the kind of guy, in your opinion, that makes this job attractive? Like, hey, I can go win with this guy. Like, this puts Jacksonville, bumps them up compared to where I might otherwise consider them.
I'll answer it a little differently because I don't really want to go the direction of if there's another coach coming in.
Okay.
Is that I think Trevor's a really good quarterback. And I think there's a lot of people that would like to work with a guy like Trevor Lawrence. I can assure you of that.
All right. Taking on the Detroit Lions this week, Logs. What is your primary concern defensively when you're facing this team?
How physical they are as an offensive line. I mean, that's really what stands out. Have you seen how many offensive linemen they have on their active roster?
I don't know how many they're carrying.
It's staggering. It's like 11 or something like that.
Wow.
Which goes
not
to
on
show
the game
you,
day, probably, but on the
no,
just
not,
on the
not
53.
on game day. So they have 3 deep at left tackle, 2 deep.
That's why they're throwing passes to him.
Center, so that's 6 guys right there. 3 at right guard, so that's 6'9", and then 3 at right tackle. They've got 12 offensive linemen on their active roster. So let me ask you a question.
They're hoarding
What
linemen.
do you think that they believe in?
Holy cow.
Line of scrimmage, obviously.
Winning the line of scrimmage. And that's exactly right. And so this is a game that's going to test the Jaguars up front. And the Jaguars have given up their 3 highest rushing totals in the last 3 weeks. And this is another level. This is a really good offensive line with 2 really good backs, with a really efficient quarterback, even though he was a turnover machine this past game for the most part. He's done a really good job at protecting the ball. So you better buckle up the chin strap, put a little extra air in the helmet, and maybe one more wrap of tape around the wrists and the ankles, and tighten them pads up just a little bit on the straps.
What do you do, when you're looking at the team defensively? They're really more known for their offense. And with Aiden Hutchinson out for the season, we're just looking at him. He put those numbers he's still among the top 10 in sacks. He played 4.5 games.
Yeah, which is crazy, right? I mean,
he was at that point, he was easily the leading contender for Defensive Player of the Year. He was dominating almost every game for the Detroit Lions, but they don't have that identity anymore. So what do you worry about when you see that side?
Well, look, they're a physical front. They're not as talented without Hutch, obviously rushing the passer, but I think they've got some really good linebackers. Anzalone, I think, is a very good football player. Jack Campbell, I think, is a really good football player. They've got 2, I'm talking exceptional safeties. I mean, Brian Branch from Alabama, I remember watching his college film, and he was kind of falling down the pecking order. And I was going, man, this guy's a good football player. Somebody's going to get a really good football player late in the first round. And Detroit got him. He's really good.
In the second.
Zadarius Smith also was acquired prior to the trade deadline. Mm-hmm. And his debut is going to be this week. Dan Campbell gave him the week off last week because Cleveland hadn't had a bye week. Detroit had already had their bye week. He gave him the week off to kind of get his things in order before he made the move to Detroit. And he's a good football player. I think he's going to help them in pass rush, but they're very physical up front. They're very opportunistic in takeaways as a defense, lead the league in interceptions, I believe. I know the safeties do. So yeah, this is going to be a tough matchup against a good football team.
Piece of cake. Let's go.
Yeah, I keep waiting on Dan Campbell to do something that I'm like, there's the maniac.
Bite a kneecap.
I keep waiting on that, but he's like, no, you haven't had a bye week. We'll give you a bye this week. He keeps doing these very reasonable things as a coach.
Well, it's fair. I mean, look, you got a player that's coming in who's, 10 years in the league, and Zadarius Smith, yeah. And getting ready to make a move. And if you want a guy to be all in for the remainder of the season, give him a little opportunity to get his things in order before he's going to work full time.
I mean, that's a team that their quarterback threw 5 picks on the road against the division leader and won.
Still won
this past week. So
what's a winning percentage of that? 195 and 0.
All right. And I'm going to say no. Probably a lot lower than that. Let's say hello to Helmets and Heels.
Now, the 2-minute drill, brought to you by Injury Care Centers, the exclusive provider of BioTarget regenerative therapy for pain. Visit GoBioTarget.com for a location near you.
Hello.
It's
Taylor Dahl, everybody. What's up? How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
We're okay. We wish the Jags weren't 2-8, but they are what they are. And so, going to break it down and talk about it and try to figure out if we can't pull the upset of the season this week.
Yeah, it would. I feel like it would be.
It probably would
be. You have a top 3 team versus a bottom 3 team at this point. But
really a top 2 team. I mean, it's Detroit and Kansas City at the moment.
Yeah. And that's what I've been saying for 2 years now. The way that the Lions have built the Lions has worked so well because, number one, they started with the offensive line, which, go figure, has been an issue league-wide this year. And then now the best offensive line has a offense that looks like it can function even when you do turn the ball over a lot. They're able to run the ball, and they're able to make up for those mistakes. And so a lot of teams should probably be looking at the way that they've built their team because they've done it really, really well and to last, not just to put a Band-Aid over things.
Although I saw this on Twitter last night, Jamar Chase is in that draft with Penei Sewell, and there was a debate, which one would be the winner, and they said, the answer, yes.
Yeah,
right?
either one.
Can't go wrong.
In this case, you're probably okay. So what's coming up on the show today?
Yeah, so we'll talk some of that. The Bears fire their offensive coordinator today, Shane Waldron. We'll also have a lot of college football. My tangent today is on Carson Beck and what's going on at Georgia and maybe some of the other teams around the league. So a lot of football today. So there's still football. It just may not be as fun around here.
Is there any other sport?
Not for me.
Certainly not for us. By the way, Caleb Williams, coach killer. Just trying it out for size, you know? No. I got one OC fired already? Are you kidding me?
I mean, I'm glad they've never fired a coach in season, and it's been a problem because they've just like drug things out, and usually it's kind of like, okay, we'll figure it out at the end of the season, and I'm glad they're doing something because people warned us. Jackson Smith and Jigba told everyone Shane Waldron sucks and good luck, and it hasn't looked very well.
Well, I know this. Jaden Daniels didn't get anybody fired yet, so I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I love giving Taylor a hard time. Have a great show.
I could have more arguments about that, but we'll do it.
We'll see you later. Helmets and Heels coming your way next. Logs, where are we going to catch you this week?
Thursday, happy hour, the Doug Peterson Show on 1010XL, and also on the network with the Doug Peterson Show. We have Jaguars All Access at Strings. I believe we're going to have Foyer, I think, as our guest this week. And so looking forward to that. Outdoor show on Saturday. Kevin Favors shot a heck of a buck this morning, by the way, so he'll have the story with that. And then game day from Detroit starting at 10 o'clock, I believe.
You ever use one of those blinds? I saw somebody posting one of these on the internet yesterday. From the outside, it looks like camouflage. From the inside, you see right through it.
Yes.
You have?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
They said the biggest issue is like the slits to shoot out of. They're too low if you're standing, and they're too high if you're sitting. So I guess get the right size chair is key.
Yeah, exactly. There's some blinds that are actually made to be shot through.
Okay.
Like with archery equipment and guns, which is amazing. But yeah, and there's some blinds that are actually made of mirrors, so that the environment around the blind
just
itself
reflects off of it.
Back off of it.
It was interesting. I saw that yesterday. It's a pretty cool little video out there.
Yeah.
All right, that'll do it for us. For Logs, for Tony Smith, for Dylan Denmark. We're back at it again tomorrow, Tony. We'll have John Ozier until. Wait till you see the question of the day I am going to post tomorrow.
All right.
Twist you in knots, okay? It will twist you in knots, and we encourage you all to vote on it, please, if you could. That's coming up tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody. Helmets and Heels coming your way next on 1010XL.